Yeah, it's only a certain people would know what that is. All right, here we go. Just checking it. Well, good morning, everybody, to another edition of the south end of Phoenix. Today we are getting together just to see what is going on with many of our members, many of the things that are going around town. You got some wet snow out there. If you're driving, just be careful. I think the main streets are pretty well okay. They're just slushy, but the side streets may be a bit slippery. So if you're walking your dog, you're changing your tires in your driveway, we would highly suggest that you get on over to Sam's place and get them changed over, get them done right,
Yes.
because it's hard when the lug nuts start rusting, outside. So this we're going to have a presenter later on, Norm Boyer. He's our handyman. He's got like a wealth of information. So pin come in with that, and you'll see a little bit about what we do. Okay, so we'll give you a little bit of idea of how Phoenix is doing. We've gotten quite a bit of traction over the last while. By the way, if you're sending in your stats, whatever BAMs you've done or business that you've done, this is where it all ends up on our bulletin board. Member of the week is speaking of Sam Storis. He's our mechanic for the East group, and it's always nice to see him in all the other groups as well, because he's really good at what he does. If you're a visitor, you have a business, come on in. These are the red buttons that we always refer to. The Monday, Wednesday, and the Thursday group. The Zoom is embedded in that button, and so you can join us, promote your business. You can do it a few times and see if this is a good fit for you, because this is what it's all about. So it's still about networking. Social media is good. I think all of us do in some form or another, Facebook or the social media platforms. But somewhere along the line, you have to start meeting people. Unfortunately, yeah, those that just want to do everything virtual, it does work. It's a completely different universe when you do it that way. So when you're starting out, you want people to sort of get traction and be able to know what you do. So come into Phoenix and these kinds of platforms to get that. Our after hours is what we have once a month. This is one category that if you can't come in during the regular hours, Monday to Friday, or between the 8 and 9 in the morning, we do have one at 7 o'clock at night once a month on the first Tuesday of the month. And as you can see, we just had that a couple of nights ago. And it's more of a mastermind group where we talk a little bit about your goals, talk about your business, if you're having any issues. Like I've got a boatload of experience, but I still learn something in those meetings, because there's always some challenges that I'm going through to try and get through to another hurdle, right? So East wins. Well, we have that coming for you every Tuesday morning, and in Bernie Frandgrove heads that up. Okay, that's an international thing. There's my meditation. I do that every Friday at 1:30 just to get to some chilling out there. And we've got several things. One thing I wanted to mention here, not only with the charities that we are involved in and so on, we have our golf on September the 4th this year, and the proceeds of that are going to the Canada Food Cupboard and so on. So far, we've got about just over 43,000 in terms of funds that we've raised for charity, and we're going to be adding several thousand to that just from the announcements that we got from Mike Volotsky and others that are going to be helping out those charities as well. But one thing I wanted to mention, because sometimes we're wondering how can we find somebody that is in our group that does various things. So if you go to directories, just to give you just a quick lesson here, in this directory, we have it programmed where you could actually find somebody. So you go to all members directory here, and then search category. And the great thing about this is there's a whole list of all the professions that you could get. These are people that do various things. So if you're looking for a chiropractor, okay, and you just go to the search on the bottom, and there we go. There's Shane Bayless. He's our chiropractor of the group. So through a category, you can find things a lot faster. And there's other ones here that I know Eric would be involved in, and that's with a residential realtor. I wanted to mention that. There's a realtor residential, and it will give you all of the realtors that we have. There we go. Boom. So it's just a quick sort of reference. Our site is pretty powerful that way. We can find things on very quickly, in that way. And so it's a nice little tip if you want to really get those things going. Also, just as a reminder, if you do have an event of some kind, and you just put it over here as far as your what stats there is, or if you're speaking somewhere and you want people to know about it, let us know. Okay, there's an application. Basically, let us know what chapter you're in. And then basically a brief description of what's about, what its name, what the name is, when it is, if there is a cost, if there is an address that we want people to go through. Like Dwight is just going through his catering thing, and sometimes he's at Lansdowne Park. You could post it on these kind of things, and that way people will at least know you're there. It's an extra exposure. Okay, you can download a picture if that is what you want, submit, and we'll process that for you. It's that easy. Okay. So whenever you're in that position where you are trying to do something, just post that, and we'll be happy to post it on the calendar for you. So far, we're at 55,000 this year. This thing's from January 1st, and it's only 104 referrals, so that's a really good ratio. Thanks to some of the realtors and some of the other people that are doing the big numbers, including HVAC and so on, that kind of thing. So that really helps with the boosting of the sales. That adds to the 4.8 million that we have. I'm sure hope we can get to 5 million there very, very soon. We do about 300,000 every year. So I think we're going to be pretty close to that by the end of the year, hopefully. And for visitors, again, there's our QR for Phoenix, just to give you an idea of who and what we are. We're basically a down-to-earth bunch of business people that just want to make a difference. And so if you got something, you need help, come on in. We'd be happy to join you. So we have a little words of wisdom from Eric Perrin. Eric, go ahead, my friend.
All righty. So, all right. I think I'm on unmuted. So, words of wisdom. So, I saw something the other day that was really interesting. It's what and how you need to be centered in your thoughts, and they have to be centered in your positive thoughts. So, there are so many things that are pulling us into negative thought. I'm not good enough for this. My commissions are too high. I'm not presenting value. I'm not delivering value. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. So many of those, like all the coaches are always talking about, we need to center ourselves. We need to get into positive thought. And what I want you to think of is the next time that you're going to away from positive thought and you're going towards negative thought, is think of this. Think of a potter, somebody who's making pottery, and they have the wheel. The wheel goes round and round and round in circles. And it's really easy to put that piece of clay just slightly off center. And when it's just slightly off center, imagine that is just a little bit of a negative thought. Okay. When that wheel goes around, it kind of spins a little bit like this, and it kind of looks like, it's slightly off center, big deal. But the more you end up thinking of negative thoughts, think of it not at the center of that spinning wheel. Think of it halfway between the center and the complete outside of that wheel. And the faster that wheel spins, meaning the faster we are thinking of multiple negative thoughts, what happens to that piece of clay? It's being pushed outwards. And it's being pushed outwards, and it's going faster, and it looks like it's in more and more and more and more of a disarray. And it looks like it's chaos all of a sudden. And then imagine that it's still, for whatever reason, sticking on that wheel. And it's moving all the way to the extreme part of that complete disc that's turning and it's turning in circles. And all of a sudden, it just releases because there's nothing left to stick on it. And it just explodes off, and it explodes on the wall. Think of that as, oh my God, like how catastrophic is that? This ball that was perfectly round in a circle that should have been this beautiful sculpture, this beautiful bowl, this beautiful whatever, all of a sudden is splattered into small little bits all over the wall. Now, what I want you to imagine is that piece of clay that's perfect in its shape at the exact center of the wheel. I don't care how fast you spin that wheel, it is not going to move. So remember, when you start thinking little negative thoughts because of negative pressures, it's going to slowly get into a worse negative thought and a worse one and a worse one until it splatters onto that wall. So your duty to yourself first and foremost is to center yourself into a positive thought and say, no, I'm better than this. I'm not going to allow the negative thought to pull me out to where it's chaos. I'm going to remember that I am of value, or that I am an honest salesperson, or that I am here to help that person. And helpfully that will recenter you into middle of that wheel, and it's going to turn around in a smooth wheel. Like you can't even see this turning, right? But if it's off center, you can. So remember to center your thoughts and remember that potting wheel. That'll help you get back into that positive, productive space again. So there you go.
Thank you very much, Eric. That is a great analogy. Yeah, that's super. No matter how fast you're going, if it's right in the center, you won't even see it move. And that's the idea. You want to keep our things centered. So if somebody is calling you saying, "Look, I'm about to splatter," help them. You got to bring them back to the center. So that's a great analogy. Thank you, Eric. Okay, let's go right into our introductions. This time, what I want you to do is when people use your services, okay, they're not using your services because of what it is that you do. They're using your services because you can solve a problem. All right, that's what they're coming you for. They're not coming you because Sam does the tires and I do the meditation. Bernie does the connections. We don't go to people like that, but we have a problem that someone else can solve. So in your infomercial, what kind of problem do you solve that people absolutely need you? Why do they come to you, in other words? So this way we can get a perspective of our clients' problems and why and how they are coming to you in a way that they keep coming to you because you keep solving the problem. All right, so let's see if we can give that a slant and see how that works out. And let's start with Q. Go ahead, Q.
Thank you, Tony. Good morning, everyone. My name is Q, and I'm the ancient lady of the group. And I would say I help people with the financial peace of mind when you need it most. So name it. If they ever wondering how it will affect their life financially, if something unexpected things happen to them, such as have some critical illness or lose their ability to work, but bills keep coming in, then they definitely need to talk to me to find out how to protect themselves and their loved one. And also, do you know that even if you have some sort of health challenges like cancer, stroke, diabetics, etc., or if you have been declined before, you can still get life and critical illness insurance. And if you know anyone that have some sort of health challenges, make sure to them reach out to me and we can start the conversation. Q from World Financial Group, again, providing you with financial peace of mind when you need it most. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Q. So basically, if somebody has a peace of mind that it's bothering them, that as they get older and they might get sick, you provide that solution so that they can fall back on it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any BAMs or referrals this week? Okay. All right. All right. Over to Eric Perrin.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm your real estate advisor with Engel and Volkers Ottawa. And what I solve is when people are selling a home, they are completely stressed out.
Mhm.
They are so stressed out that they're going to have to move. What do I do? How do I set up the house? How am I going to present my house the best to sell? What is this house even going to sell for? What are people going to pay for it? How am I going to clean this? How am I going to paint that? What do I need to fix? So there's a lot of stress involved in not only a move, but when you're actually selling your property. So what I do is I come in and I give you a list of what are the things that are absolutely most essential to be able to prep your home if you're looking to sell it in a reasonable amount of time with the best possible price that the market might bear for your home. And what I do is I take the stress away. I also take the stress away of, well, what about all the documents? What are all the legal papers? What do they all mean? So what I do is I take care of all of the sales paperwork. I take care of all the fulfilling of any of the conditions. And what I do with those is I make sure that your lawyer, your mortgage representative receives them. And then to make sure that it's been done, I always CC you as the client to make sure that you know that it's been done, so you don't even have to think about it. And then what I'll do is I'll make sure that I reach out to you and say, hey, by the way, I don't know if you saw the email, but I just forwarded this documentation to your lawyer. So your lawyer has it, your mortgage person has it. You don't need to worry about anything. I remove worry and stress. There you go.
Perfect. Any BAMs there last week there, bud?
No BAMs last week, but I am going to be doing a podcast with Bernie tomorrow morning. So I'm looking forward to that. That'll be my first podcast ever. So I'm in the presence of greatness with Bernie. Hopefully he takes it easy on me.
Yeah. Bernie's an amazing interviewer. He's great. Yeah.
And I also have Carl Richards. Richards, I've got him coming to my Engel and Volker's office on Somerset Street on April 14th. We have a basement studio that does not function properly. The lighting, the lighting, the video, the audio, all that kind of stuff. So I've asked him to come to the office and tell me what I need to do to set it up to get a pro-ish office to be able to start doing my own videos. And
Smart. That's a way you use people. Good stuff. It's very, very smart. Cool. Okay, and over to Redmond.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Tony. Hi, everyone. Redmond O'Brien with Odette Rigonda Lawyers Professional Corporation. That's really interesting as well, Eric, about trying to set yourself up for that kind of outreach through podcasts and other ways. So I'll learn from that. In terms of why do people come to our firm, excuse me, it's for various legal services. And I think I've gotten into this a bit, as we all have before with our businesses. But it can be, so it's in the areas of family law and wills and estates for me. If someone needs a will, power of attorney, any family law matter, if it's trying to come up with an agreement a lot of the time in family law to how to settle the issues that are there legally following a separation or divorce. So how are we going to take care of our children together? How are we going to make sure that communication is handled if communication is an issue between parties? How are we going to divide our property if that's something that is in question, like if there's a lot of property at stake? Decision making as I kind of got into there, and child support, spousal support. So how are we going to take care of the children? So my role, I see it as definitely as a lot of us, when you first meet someone, it's about you're trying to obtain information from them and solve a problem and see a bit about the state that they seem to be in. And it could be I have this. I just want we have everything agreed upon. We're ready to have a separation agreement. It's almost all done. I just need someone to review it and make sure it protects my rights. I need to have it done quickly. Okay, this person definitely wants to move forward quickly. So try to just sense where they're at. And in general, what I see myself as doing for them as well is, or kind of the process to go through is preparing for each meeting. Sometimes doesn't take much, but other times it could be a bit more of a complex matter. And obtaining information from my clients and providing advice, and then they give instructions on how to go forward. So I see a lot of problem solving, relationship development, maintaining that and just trying to be as cost effective as possible as well. So in terms of so Revin O'Brien with Odette Regan Lawyers Professional Corporation, protecting your rights is our priority. Have a BAM with Carl Richards, hopefully pretty soon in about a week or so, and have some clothes to give away to Brenda Lee's organization.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Very good. Very thorough there.
Oh yeah, no problem.
Awesome job. Good stuff. You're getting better, actually. Good stuff. I see the improvement. Way to go, man. Way to go. And over to Mr. Sam Sturris.
Thank you, Tony. Good morning, everyone. Sam Sturris, connectedcars.ca. There we go. Got the contact information in the chat. Well, let's see. Besides dash cameras and things like that, why do people come to me? Well, in the next little while, I'll get a lot of oil. I'll get a lot of tire changes coming up in the spring. Why do people come to me? Because they get an appointment. They don't have to sit in line in a long line waiting to get their tires changed. Personalized service. I do it myself. Take care of the people's vehicle just like I take care of my own vehicles. And I do a free inspection of the brakes while I'm doing that. So most of that work is done in about an hour's time. So I save people lots of time and lots of frustration having some teenage person messing around with their vehicle and not doing the job properly. So that's what I do for people. And let's see, BAMS wise, I've been conversing with our friend, let's see, Susan McGarry, because I've gone on a sugar-less diet, and first time in my life, and I'm seeing what it does for me. I'm not sure if it makes me any brighter or not brighter or tired. I don't know yet. But since Monday, I've been cutting back on my sugar intake. That's it.
Thank you, Sam. Good job. And over to Jody. Hey, Jody, can you hear us? She's probably with the kids. Okay. Let's move over to Susan Ebbs. Susan Ebbs, how are we doing?
Doing great. Thank you so much. I've missed you guys. I ended up with a very bad case of bronchitis that landed me in the hospital for a week. So it's been a long road back. So back to reality. Here we go. So I'm with a company called Melaleuca.com, and we can help you guys to detoxify your home. Get all those chemicals out there. Cleaning your home, it causes all sorts of diseases, ADHD, allergies, etc. Melaleuca has products that are non-toxic, they're concentrated, and they can save you money. And we also bundle one of our cleaning packages called EcoSense, and saving you even more money. One thing that's good with the EcoSense cleaning products, it works well with real estate people. You know, when you sell your house or you're trying to sell your house, have that vaporizer going with a lovely scent, and it makes people think, oh, this place has got a lovely, fresh, cooked flavor to it. I love this place, so I'm gonna buy it. Or it could be used as a thank you gift for the sale. The one thing that I wanted to highlight today is that we had a new product launch while I was off, and it is called Harvest Pure. Nowadays, chemicals, pesticides, dirt, etc., are on all our vegetables and fruits, and that's not good for your immune system, for your health. So this product, what it is a wash. So you can just sit it in the wash for 10 or 15 seconds, cleans off all the pesticides, and it makes your fruits and vegetables sparkle, and the flavor just comes right through. So again, another non-toxic product helping you to improve your health. Let's see, BAMS. Well, Kat and I have been trying to get together for the past month. She's either sick or I'm sick. So I think we've booked about half a dozen times. So we are going to have a BAM. It's just a matter of how we can time it so that we can get together. That I think is all I have to report for today. Happy morning.
Thank you very much, Susan, and it's good to have you back. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Jody, are you ready to go now? Hey, Jody. Oh, there you are. Woohoo! You're on mute, by the way. Okay, good. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm good. Good morning, everybody. I am Jody, the personal trainer of the group, and I really focus on women's health and wellness. And the thing is, what my problem-solving skills are often women try different exercise programs and they start and stop and they try this and they stop and so often it's because they haven't found the thing that they feel fun. We have enough to-do things on our to-do list that they add exercise as a to-do thing. When you make exercise fun, it's something that you want to do. You enjoy a cup of coffee every day, you naturally don't put that in your schedule. You actually naturally do it. So my goal is to always make this shift in the mindset to make fitness fun and for their level of fitness so that they want to do the exercise versus having to do the exercise. So then they don't start and stop. They start a program with me and then they continue. In the fitness industry, a lot of the marketing is for like, do this fitness program for 8 weeks and get results. And I really try to make sure that I make it a lifestyle versus an 8 weeks or 12-week fix. And it really shows because I have clients that have been training with me for 15 years. And, some of them have been for 15 years, some have started, but most of the time people who start training with me, they do it for years, even though the memberships are monthly. So it's about making it fun and something that they want. So if you know somebody who's tried and stopped every exercise program they can think of and are looking for something that sticks, I'm the gal. And what am I doing? Is I haven't had any, well, Redmond and I did some business, so we kind of had a BAM in there as well. And some business with Tony as well.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, we got you down for that. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Jody. And yeah, definitely, if you got the issue, you got to start moving. We have to start moving as a population, no matter what you do. If you don't choose dance, you don't choose workout, you just can't do nothing. Because the saying goes that if you choose not to move, eventually you won't have the choice. It'll just be you'll be sitting down in a wheelchair and you'll wonder what happened. So and I've seen that in just over the last week going into a senior's home. They just decided not to move and. So that's it's a reality. So yeah, Jody, you serve a great purpose there for sure. And over to Mr. Bernie.
Well, Tony, thank you so much. And here's some details in the chat. And in fact, let me add some more details in the chat. And that's kind of the nature of the beast of what I do. I add details to your business flow. If you didn't know about something, and sometimes it's specific, much like what we have when we have a BAM. Someone says something like, "Hey, this is good to know," and share that information. Except I just do it outside of the region. So the East Trade Winds, for example. That's actually across Canada, some folks from the States, some folks from Europe, or even South Africa or Australia occasionally. And it's a really odd time for them. It's probably 3 a.m. for that time slot. However, that said, that's kind of the nature of the beast. And I try to find a synergy. The other part, do podcasting. And Knack for Business podcast, we are just looking at the stats, and since March, we've had over 8,000 downloads, 8,000 hits. So that's a good number. And that all came about from leveraging and connecting with people, right? So it's not only just me doing organic push out, it's finding out other services that can help expand the horizon. What else to tell you? I can keep going, and I don't want to do that because I'm going to eat into Norm's time. We're at 8:35, and I'm going to yield the floor to Mr. Norm Boyer because I am not down in the States and I'm not trying to do a filibuster.
Okay, I'll do a quick infomercial.
I'll yield the floor to Tony. Sorry, wrong
it's
floor.
All good. It's all good. So yeah, the Tony Jennis from Higher Self. I'm the spirit guy of the group. I've been doing this for like thousands of years. You know, it's one of the things that is that if you're looking for insight for anything, it's good to get a perspective on top of the research that you're doing cognitively and everything above board. But there's also an energy around everything. There's an energy in a house. There's this is one of the reasons why sometimes they don't sell, because the house doesn't want it to sell. It has its what we call clause in it, and those are the harder ones to be able to sell because of various reasons. And the thing is that every Friday at 1:30, I do an online meditation class, and this week we're going to be talking about, are you an empath? Well, what's an empath? An empath is a person that feels what other people feel. So they could walk into a room, and it could be a funeral, a wedding, it could be an event of some kind, and all of a sudden they would burst out crying, and they can't stop. They just go, and they wonder, are you okay? Because they're feeling the tears that are not being said or not being acted upon. That's how strong some of the empaths are. And now, as much as that is great to be able to feel, it's also on the other side, it's sort of a negative thing, because if you feel whatever other people are feeling, if other people are feeling angry, you're feeling angry. If other people are feeling great and kicking the ceiling type of attitude like Eric, then they feel that. But it's such an up and down thing that it's just like valley peaks, and it will drive you crazy. So there are ways that you can mitigate that, so you can curb it, so you have control of that kind of. So it's not a curse, as what some people will say. There is a thing to it. And one part is that we're going to be talking about in tomorrow's class is various crystals that you could wear. This one is tourmaline and onyx. And what that does is actually repels other people's energy. If somebody is either deceitful, or if somebody is negative, they're always talking about the drive-by shootings and all the political scene, and it just constantly brings you down. After 15 minutes of hearing somebody, you want to check out yourself. So this particular crystal, this black tourmaline, it will keep that energy away. So you'll only feel about maybe 5% of whatever energy that would normally come to you, because otherwise you're an open sponge, right? It's like throwing a sponge in a pool. It just starts to absorb everything. But you put the sponge in a plastic bag, the sponge could be there all day and it's still dry. And that's the kind of quality that empaths need, is that they want to keep that negative energy away. They want to keep that sort of things going. However, you want to take it off when you're talking to a person that wants to ask you for money, right? If a person is trying to scam you, you will feel what they're trying to do. So you can feel the manipulation. You could feel. So there are different ways, and we're going to show you different ways on how you could sort of manage that in those ways. Okay. And yeah, so come in for a reading. Find out if you're doing something different in your business and you want to be able to find out what kind of things to look out for. Get a little bit of a snapshot of the paved road ahead of you. Give me a call. Tony Jennis from Higher Self, where we are here to raise your spirits. Now, every week we give one of our members more of an opportunity to talk about their business and their industry than in just about a minute or so, a couple of minutes. So, and this week we're showcasing Norm Boyer. And just so you know, Norm, I have your video of the 366 glass video, just in case your connection up by Stevenage Drive isn't as very strong. Okay, we can play that if you like. It's up to you. All right. So over to you.
I'll let you know. I want you to play that.
Okay,
So,
it's all yours, buddy.
Norm Boyer, Boys Home Maintenance Repair. I thought I'd talk about patio doors. Also, we do fixed patio doors, so one of the things, if your patio door's not rolling right, watch what lubrication you use. Some people use WD-40 really bad, and one woman used butter. She lubricated the track with butter.
Butter.
Butter, yeah. So we learn lots of things. So I get lots of different results when I fix patio doors. Sometimes I can just take the patio door apart, clean the wheels out, and lubricate them with the proper lubrication, and then put it back and it works. Sometimes I have to replace the wheels. So I went to a customer. My grandson and I took the door apart. We lubricated it using this lubrication. It's called Jigaloo, right? It's what I use to do that. And so she says, "Oh, where do I get some of that?" I said, "Well, at any big box store, you know." And I said, "Here, this one's yours." And I gave her a can, right? She said, "Oh, thank you." It was about half full. So then she paid me, and my grandson and I are leaving. And at the time, my grandson was learning to drive. So he always wanted to drive. So I'm in the passenger seat. She runs out of the house. She knocks on the window and she says, "Here, here," and gives us a $20 tip. She's already paid us to fix her door, but she gives us a $20 tip. And from that, I learned, wow, that really made a big difference. She's giving her the can. So what I do now, I have labels on the can. I have a bunch of cans and it has my label on it, Boyer Boys, Home Maintenance and Repair. So whenever I do repair a window or repair a door that needed lubrication, I give them a can. So that's part of my advertising, is to do that. So we get different results from fixing patio doors. I went to one, only the husband could open the patio door, and they had a dog. So the dog would be, "Come on, open the door," and he had to struggle to open the door. So I repaired the patio door so it'll slide really easy. And his son just walks in from school then, 8 years old. And I said, "What's your son's name?" "His name's William." "William, come and open the door." So I can't open the door. "William, come and open the door." And he came and he opened the door. It was easy for him to open the door. And he was just like, "I can open the door. I can open the door." I got a text 10:30 at night from the wife, who wasn't there during the day, 10:30 at night, thanking me so that they could open the patio door again. And so it makes a big difference, just a little thing like replacing the wheels or changing or just lubricating them. So another time, we also replaced patio doors with high performance glass. And so Tony will play that video about the high performance glass in a bit. So we go to put the door in. Customer says, "I'm not going to be home. Here's the code to get into the front door." Now he has 2 dogs. They're Malamutes, right? So I open the door. I know their names. We tell them, "Good morning, how are you?" And they're fine. So we're making all sorts of noise and stuff, right? We take the old patio door out, and between the wall and the brick, out comes a snake. A garter snake about this long. So I called the dogs over. "Hey, get the snake." And they go, "No, where we come from, there's no snake. Don't know what that is. Not interested." So these dogs are really cool, just watching us work. But the neighbor's dog are barking all day. And where we're working, these dogs are just, "Yeah, it's cool that you guys are working in our house." So that made a big difference in the comfort zone in that house because of the high performance glass, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. But that customer has since bought a second patio door. Now the difference for the first patio door, we replaced the older patio door. The second patio door was on the second floor in a bedroom. There was a deck on it, and we cut out some windows. We cut the windows out, put new headers in, made the opening a little smaller, and put the headers in and put a new patio door to go onto the deck instead of having a couple of windows there. So that's just some of the things we do with the patio doors, right? So that's this time of year, a lot of people went into their backyard. So they're starting to go into the backyard. So we'll start getting some calls to at least make the patio door slide easier, right? And then I do a presentation. While you're doing this, do you want to upgrade to a replacement patio door? It's a thing that we get the most referrals for, right? So friends, I put in 5 patio doors because I did one patio door and they told somebody else and told somebody else and told somebody else how well it works. Okay, now Tony, you got that video now?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Demonstrate how much heat goes through your glass. We have a heat lamp here producing heat. We have a meter which is measures BTUs. So we set to 500 BTUs. If your house is built before 1990, you're going to get 2 layers of glass, no coatings on it. So that means 330 BTUs are still escaping through that glass. If you have glass recommended by the government in the building code, we put this in, and it's a low E, still 311 BTUs passing through that glass, so still heat coming through. If you have a room that's too hot, too cold, then we'll put this layer, 3 layers of silver, and here transparent, and it brings our reading down to 6. So now your room is not going to be too hot, too cold. And we don't have to replace your windows, we can just replace your glass. Thank you, Tony.
You're welcome.
So that is the technology from the space helmets is what's on that glass, right? And it does not meet building code. And the reason it does not meet building code, because the building code is so old, right? And they don't change it. And one of the things that glass does, sorry, other glasses don't, is it cuts out solar gain. It cuts out the heat from the sun, right? So the government says you want high ER ratings, like this window program that they give a grant for. You want to cut it, you want the free heat from the sun. Now, June, July, August, and September, you do not want the heat from the sun, right? So this thing has a very poor ER rating or energy rating, but its R rating, its resistance to heat is more than double of what is in most places right now. We did a place in Elmont. We had 9 windows to do on their ground floor the first year, and it was in the middle of a heat wave where we could only work until noon. Literally, we had to stop because we were just baking. So we did the first 3 windows in one of the rooms that they couldn't keep the room cool. And the air conditioner was going 24/7. These people have money. Best air conditioning you can buy. Going 24/7, it won't cool the room down. So we did those first 3 windows that day. And we come back the next day, and the customer, Natalie Carroll, said, I was sitting in the kitchen and said, something's different. Something's different. Oh, the air conditioner's off. So she went in that room, the air conditioner was off, and they could sit in that room. That's how much difference that glass makes. It changes the comfort zone dramatically. So you really notice that high performance glass in 2 times, when it's very hot or very cold. And so that's when you notice it. I quoted a woman to replace all the glass in their house because it had failed. And a failed thermal pane is that both of the units, there's moisture in between the glass, because there's a chemical in there that keeps the air in between the glass dry. If the seal breaks, more moisture comes in than the chemical can handle. So she's got $5,000 worth of glass to be replaced. To quote it with that glass that lets 311 BTUs, building code, come through, was $5,000. To upgrade her to that high performance glass was $350 more. So it went from 5,000 to 5,350 to upgrade to that glass. She needed to replace the glass anyway, but to move it to the high end glass, $350. So people say, oh, it must be really expensive. No, it's not expensive, just that people don't know about it. And the government is promoting in this grant. I hate when they do get involved because it brings in sharks to our industry. So they're promoting technology that's 40 years old. And I would take another 10 minutes to tell you why the technology that the government is promoting and giving you a grant for, which means you have to pay more for the window, more than the grant will cover, where if you were to put a window with 366 glass in, it'd be cheaper than getting windows where you get a grant. Even though you get some money for the government to put in what they said, this 366 will be cheaper and do a better job. But you're not getting any money from the government and you're not going through any red tape. So I'll leave it open for questions. If somebody's got any questions.
Yeah, Norma, I got a question.
Okay.
For an older home that has, those old wooden windows and it has the small little panes that, you put it in with the little metal tab and the putty to set it and all that kind of stuff. Are you able to use that glass and build a window like that as well?
Yes, but the problem is, you're talking about individual panes, small individual panes. Yeah, the problem is it would be really expensive because there's a minimum charge to make a window that's 3 feet by 4 feet, piece of glass, one that's 12 inches by 12 inches. It takes the same amount of labor for the manufacturer to make it. So there's a minimum charge for it. So it would be
I was
too
wondering if you
expensive.
could take a big one and then cut it to size, but
Yeah, well,
no.
I could take if it got like 12 small panes, I could cut it out maybe and put one big pane and put some dividers in between the panes, right? Or I could make it simulated divided glass. It's called divided glass, but the factories were doing a thing now called a simulated divided glass. They put stuff on the outside that make it look like individual panes, but it's actually one big
Yeah,
pane.
no, I'm thinking more of an older home to keep the older windows, to keep the, like a 1930s or 40s home. But that's
Yeah.
okay.
I can make simulated divided glass in one big pane, and I can do it depending on the shape of the window and how good a shape it is,
Yeah.
whether I can save the window or not. Sam, you had something.
Yes, that Jigaloo that you showed is they make several different versions. Is that the orange can one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a silicone base, right? If you have cats, especially, do not try to lubricate your patio doors or anything with WD-40. Cats are the worst thing, or any dog like a Sheltie that has very, very fine hair, because it tracks it into the wheels and it just jams the wheels up. So people don't realize, what can cause the patio doors to
Oh, it's for the fur.
the fur. Yeah, the hair,
fur
fine hair.
gets in there. Okay.
Yeah, so cats have very fine hair, right? And some breeds of dogs have very fine hair, and it gums up the wheels. Right? So
Yeah.
I have to clean them out.
It is the orange can one, right?
Yeah, it's an orange can. It's called Jigaloo.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea to give it to your label is on there. I'm not sure if that would work in my business because I'd have to give a bottle of whiskey because I deal with spirits.
Yeah, well, the thing is, my bottle stays around for a long time. Your bottle would not stay around for a long time.
Have my name on there might not be a good thing.
Well, I've had customers like a year and a half later. Who's that guy's name? That I got it. I had to boy something, and then they go in the garage and there's a can of Jigaloo, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they have my label on it, and I got a really good deal on the label. And I went to Staples. They told me I would design the label. That 200 of them cost me over $200, right? And then I didn't know the quality of the rib, so I got them. So they gave me 7 rolls, right? Oh, here's your labels, 7 rolls, and then I'm putting them on my literature, and I'm going, how many is in a roll? And I took one of the rolls and I counted. There was 100 in a roll. They were supposed to give me 200 and charge me for 200, but they gave me 700. So you couldn't go back.
That's cheap. That's good.
Here's five rolls back because you gave me too many. It had my name on it. So hidden gifts, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
to the 366 glass, I just have to totally uneducate people from what the government has told people, right? Because they go to the lowest common denominator. When I said building code, you have a terrific idea. It takes you years to get it to meet building code, right? So meanwhile, my shed that I keep my tools in has better glass in than 95% of the houses on the market. So they just thought I had some glass that came in the wrong size. So when we put our tool shed together, it's 10 by 12. We put that glass, we made the holes to fit that glass. So that high performance glass is in our shed. So, I just had to, I have that kit and I used to bring that in the kitchen and demonstrate that in the kitchen. Now I have more layers of glass than just the 3. But one of the things that I would do is I would put a layer of glass and show how much the reading was, the BTUs, put another layer, and I had 9 layers of glass. I put 9 layers of glass in front of that meter, and it brings it down to 24. 9 layers of glass. Take the 9 layers off, put the glass with the 3 coatings of silver dioxide on it, 7. Well, 6 to 7, right? So it's better than 9 layers of glass.
Wow. Yeah, just talking about glass. So when Eric brought up that 1930s glass, yeah, okay, Eric, if you ever run into that, if you take it into an antique shop, it's a lot of money because you can see the waves. It's all handmade. And sometimes when you get the glass that's heavy enough, it's actually thicker on the bottom than it is at the top because over these decades, it's just like water, eh? It starts to go to the bottom and it gets bigger. So those waves, they're an expensive thing for sure. Yeah, you don't throw those away.
Parents have a house. My parents have a house that was built in the 1940s.
Yeah, don't throw those away. Those are
no. My dad refuses to get rid of any of the windows and the front door. The front door is solid as you can imagine.
Yeah.
And but of course, this cold air that comes through. He actually reached out to somebody at the Parliament buildings, and he came out to look at the windows to help with condensation and all this other kind of stuff years ago. So it's pretty interesting stuff.
Sure. Okay. Well, Norm,
that's an interesting thing about the door. One of the other things we'll do is we'll cut a hole in the door and put glass in. We did that 4 times last year, where one of them, they had a door with no glass in it, and then it was a back door, and there was a swimming pool in the back, and she couldn't see the swimming pool. So we took the door out, we cut a hole in it, and put a glass in the door.
Yeah.
Right now they could see the swimming pool.
Now they could see the kids swimming. Yeah, it's a good.
Or they'll have a pretty plain glass, and we'll change the glass to something with leaded glass in or brass in it, like or platinum. So we can change the glass too in the doors.
Well, thanks a lot, Norm. This has been a great thing. Anybody wanted to do a band with Norm, he's a wealth of information. So he has his contact information in the chat. And so we're just coming up to the top of the hour. Great timing, guys. And Bernie, do you have a word of wisdom or some quote that you can leave us with?
I have some quote. The man who removes a mountain begins by carrying away small stones. William Faulkner.
Okay, awesome. Okay, and to those that are on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and LinkedIn, good to see you again.